welcome to the Weekly Mug. Today we will be talking with the Catalan cinema producer Edmon Roch. Get ready to shake your body to the rhythm of the singer, guitarist and composer Suzanna. And Toni de la Torre is going to take us through the latest TV series. And this is only the beginning of the Weekly Mug, your TV show in English hosted by Marcela Topor.
Hello and welcome to another show to help you keep up your English and keep you entertained. And we're going to start doing so with our guest today, the producer Edmon Roch. Well, Edmon, hello and welcome.
Thank you. I'm very pleased to be here with you.
And also thank you for accepting our invitation. And for all those who don't know Edmon's profile as well, he's a film producer from Girona with a stunning career, and he is behind awarded films such as Tadeo John's Beautiful, The Perfume, The Story of a Murderer, Garbo e l'Espia, or the more recent Adu. And that's just naming a few titles, not all of them, Edmon.
Yeah, I've been lucky, just to be able to do different things. I call myself someone who likes movies and who likes going to the cinema. And as a producer, I choose the subjects I would like to see as an audience. And in this way, it doesn't matter if it is a comedy, if it's drama, if it's animation, if it's documentary, but some really powerful stories to be told. And this is what I'll try to do every time that I just produce a movie.
That's good criteria. Let's talk about Adu, your most recent success. It was awarded 4 Goya and 1 Gaudi, which is amazing, right? You must be very proud of it, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm very proud of Adu because, sometimes, some of the most challenging films are the more rewarding ones at the end. And some of the films that they told me, well, this is a film which is impossible to make, like Perfume, The Story of a Murderer, or like El Niño, or like this one Adu, have been the films then that have brought me the most happiness because, they tell stories that need to be told. And in the case of Adu, for me, I just learned about this story when I was finishing the shooting of another film.
Okay.
I went in contact with CEAR that take care of the refugees in Spain, and I just learned about the story of this little kid that crossed all over Africa from Cameroon to Melilla, to the border, to just cross the fence and just end up in the Canary Islands.
We have images here. Actually, we can watch a bit of the trailer.
Hay mucha gente que no entiende qué hacemos aquí. Si decimos lo que pasó, aquí no ha pasado nada y punto. ¿Sabéis qué es lo que nos va a joder de verdad? El miedo, la paranoia, la duda.
Me voy a Mozambique a trabajar en un parque natural.
A very powerful story indeed. Set in Africa, and it's not the only project. You have another recent project set in Africa. It's Sarah's Notebook, El Cuaderno de Sara, with Belen Rueda. So are you particularly interested in this continent, or it's a coincidence?
It is a coincidence because of the stories that were to be told. Actually, I did 3 films in Black Africa in a row, starting by Sarah's Notebook. After that, I did Staff Only with Sergi Lopez, and then Adu with Luis Tosar and Ana Castillo. And the fact that Sarah's Notebook, it was the same as Adu. These are the kind of stories that normally you learn watching TV or in a headline of a newspaper, but they just have a wonderful story behind and something that has to be told. In the case of Sarah's Notebook, it was about coltan, which is this little mineral which is so valuable that we all have in our cell phones. And just reading about the story, I just learned about one of the most rich countries in the world and one of the most poor countries in the world, which is the Democratic Republic of Congo. And I started some documentation on that. We just went to the place. We just were learning about the warriors there and the everything that was happening there, in order just to write a screenplay to explain that story. And we just went through different countries. We started in Congo, then we went to Uganda, Kenya.
You spent quite a long time in Africa, I suppose.
Yeah, many months. Actually, I would say that in the last 3-4 years, I spent more than half a year in Black Africa, just either shooting or finding the right locations, the right actors, the right countries, in order just to have the safe logistics, in order just to make these kind of films.
Right. Let's talk about documentaries. You've recently done some really amazing ones. Maybe they are not that popular for everyone, but I think it's important to mention them. For example, Garbo e l'Espia, multi-awarded. Also, it's about this Catalan spy. So, what made you interested in this particular story?
Well, it is an amazing story. I was just the lucky one to tell it in a documentary. I mean, I was so amazed that no one had ever told this story.
Yeah.
And the fact is probably because there are no images as a very good spy, double agent, Joan Pujol, Garbo. I mean, we didn't have any images of him or anything that he did. But in order just to tell the stories, as he invented himself as a spy, but actually he was never a spy. He was just someone who was creating stories for the advert, for the Nazis, in order to believe them and to divert their forces in order to win Second World War.
Yeah,
I just decided to do it, the same way that he invented himself, through movies, through films. The films that he was looking, he made up himself as a spy, watching movies. And then I thought this was a nice way in order to tell this story. And I was just the lucky one in order just to tell it.
Sometimes, as they say, life beats film, right?
Yeah.
A real amazing life story. Another fascinating documentary I would like to mention is Somehow the Desert Bride, actually with original music composed by Marc Timot, who came here to the program. We interviewed him recently. It's amazing music, and it's about the life of the writer San Mao, whose experiences in the Sahara became a bestseller in China and Taiwan. Another amazing story, and I'd like to know how you came across it, because it's not so well known.
Well, first I have to say that Marc is a genius. I'm very glad to have worked with him in San Mao. He did an amazing score, and now actually we're just shooting a film in 2 weeks, and actually he's going to be the composer of that film as well. And I'm very lucky. I mean, he's from Girona, as myself, and I'm very lucky to have found him and to be able to work with him. And the story of San Mao, actually, again, it's something that came to me through someone who was a very close friend to the family of San Mao's husband, Jose Maria. And they told me the story that the same thing with Garbo. I mean, that someone close to the family tells me a story which is amazing and that has never been told before. And I say, this is something that it's so unbelievable that if I do a fiction, people won't believe it. So let's make a documentary about it to tell the real story, even if it's hard to believe many parts of it.
Okay, on a very different note, a very different genre, let's talk about Tadeo Jones, and a really amazing film, very successful all around the world. You are now preparing the third part of the film. How did you decide to get into animation? I guess it's something very difficult to do, very expensive, very time-consuming, but I guess you're very pleased with the results, right?
Yeah, I'm very pleased with the result, but it was one of my most crazy moments in my life, I believe, because sometimes I feared that it was going to be my last movie, because it's really different to making fiction. It takes 4 years in the making. I mean, a fiction film takes many years since you start working on it until you end up shooting it. But the shooting and the creating of an animation movie, it's 4 years in itself. So for the first time I did it, it was a learning process. Again, I mean, as an academic of the Spanish Film Academy, I just saw the short feature films of Tadeo Jones. They made 2 of them, and I thought that they were fantastic. I voted them. I mean, they won the Goya Award, both of them. At the moment, I thought I must know these people and ask them what they are up to, because if they want to make a long feature film, I would like to be a part of it. So I just went with them. They had another idea. They were already tired of making Tadeo Jones because they had already made 2 short film features. They had been there for 7-8 years with that, and they said, it's time for a change. So they told me another story to make. But actually, at the end, we ended up financing and making that. We did the first film, then the second, and now we're in the making of the third one that will be opening in summer 2022.
Okay.
So now we're on the 3rd year of making. Still, we have another year to go.
Let's talk a little bit about your beginnings. Like you said, you're from Girona, but you didn't study cinema at the very beginning. You studied journalism and art history, and then you decided to go to London and study cinema. How did that happen?
Well, I always loved cinema, as I said. I mean, this was my passion, but actually I just said, I mean, at the beginning, just to get a little more information, I did art history and journalism, because these are the two things that I like, just how to explain good stories, how the storytelling is the fact that really moves me just to making movies. And also just when I did art history, I just specialized in 20th century art at that time, and cinema, and I had the degree in cinema and all that. So actually it was part of my learning process. In the meantime, I started doing documentaries and films. I mean, at the university, instead of just doing research on paper, I was doing the research on tape. And at that time, it wasn't so normal. Now, I mean, with the cell phones, everyone does it. But in 1991, that wasn't so common. And actually, I had a very fun time doing that. And at the same time, could just go on journalism and just be working at the Sitges Fantasy Film Festival and doing different activities since I went to London, and then I decided that I wanted to specialize in film. At the beginning, I thought I would be more writing, and at the end, I just found out that my way was to produce, because I was the first one to start with the story, and I would be there till the release and all the career of the film everywhere.
You founded your production company, Ikiru Films. You've produced amazing films for 16 years now, if I'm not mistaken. Did you imagine? Did you imagine when you founded it at the beginning that you would have such a great success and you produce these amazing films such as The Perfume, for example, which was an international hit?
Yeah. No, actually, you never think so long. I mean, at the beginning, I thought that I would end up just doing some more writing and just telling my own stories. But at the end, one thing leads to another, and just you find the right place every time for the next project or for the next projects that you have, right? And I'm very lucky. I mean, I started just making films for other production companies when I was working as a line producer or as a production manager or as associate producer of film directors and for other production companies. And from that day, I just realized that, well, I don't want the movie to choose me, I want to choose the movie. And I just did this change. This is when I just decided to create Ikiru Films, an homage to Akira Kurosawa, my master, my reference in filmmaking. And Ikiru is one of his films. It means to live in Japanese. Yep. That's the name of Ikiru. And from that moment, I just decided just to create and make the films that I would like to go as an audience. And always with the same goal. I mean, I would like just the people, when they finish to watch the film, when they finish to watch the series, just to be a little better when they started watching it.
Mm-hmm. That's a great philosophy. Let's talk about your most recent project. It's hard to choose because you're doing so many things, but I would like you to tell us something about a film that is premiering next October, Las Leyes de la Frontera, based on a novel by Javier Cerca. I know you're very into this film, and I think it's going to be a great success.
Hopefully. I mean, this was another passion project. Actually, we were finishing the shooting of El Niño when the novel came out. And actually, I was talking to Daniel Monzón, the director of El Niño, and we said, I mean, this is a great subject. And actually, it was so close to me because, I mean, this is Girona 1978. Yeah. I was 10 years old by then.
That's right.
So I said, I mean, and I knew exactly everything that was in the novel. I just had the same feelings. I had just gone to the same places. I knew exactly the way that Girona looked like at that time. And actually, it was something to me that I wanted to do sometime in my life. I mean, I'm from Girona, but I've just been filmed in Paris, in Tibet, in Argentina, in New York, but I had never made a film in Girona or about Girona. I thought, well, this is my chance. So immediately I just bought the rights for the novel. And it's been 4 or 5 years before we just got the time, Daniel and myself, just to start in the making of it. But this is a very special, very personal project. I'm very proud of it. We're now in the final process of just getting the right music, the right elements, VFX and all that, just to create this Girona of 1978 that it doesn't exist anymore. And with all that, we'll be able to open in cinemas this October. So
it's quite a challenge. Do you think the cinemas will be open by then?
I hope so. I hope so. Otherwise, we'll invent. I mean, our job is to invent ourselves all the time. So if something happens, then we'll do something different. But yeah, I mean, I believe in movie going, and I really hope that the situation will be normal for cinemas in October this year.
What other projects can you talk about, projects that you're working on? I know there are many, but let's mention maybe 2 or 3.
Okay. Right now we're shooting a film in the Canary Islands, which is for a first-time female Catalan director, Carlota González Adrio. It's based on another book, a novel by Paul Penn. It's called The House in the Cactus, La Casa entre los Cactus, with Ariadna Gil, Daniel Grau, Ricardo Gomez. So it's a film that it's very powerful from a very distinctive point of view of the female director that just came to us after winning Valladolid with her first short feature film. And actually, this is a film that I strongly believe in, of course, and that it's in the making now. In 4 weeks, we start another one, which is a completely change, because this is a horror movie. It's my first horror movie, and this is something that was developed by Alberto Marini with Antena 3 and Warner Bros. With Victor Garcia, which is another Catalan film director with a very strong personality, who started at DDT creating makeup special effects, and that has a very strong concept, and that I believe that is something that will go well as well. And then also we're just with another project, probably to shoot this October, but it's still in the making.
All right. Okay, what is, before we move on, because we have more things, more surprises for you, what would you say is the project that was like the biggest challenge for you from your whole career? I know it's probably a question hard to ask, but if you had to go back and choose like the film that was like the biggest challenge for you?
I will tell 3 in different ways. As line producer, I would say the biggest and the smallest one that I did. I mean, the biggest one was 7 years in Tibet, and for me it was a big challenge just to be in a $70 million US dollars project when I was under 30, I was 27, I believe, at that time, to shoot in Argentina, and it was challenging to be working with Brad Pitt, David Thewlis, and just to create Tibet in Argentina, in the Aconcagua and all that, and to be the line producer of all that. So that was something that was really wonderful. But on the other hand, I had money to make it happen. So it was challenging, but also I had the means in order to make it happen.
And rewarding.
Yeah. Another film that was by Peter Greenaway called Tool Super Suitcases. It was a very ambitious film with almost no money. So that I would say this was even a bigger challenge because you had to create very precise things for a very demanding director like Peter Greenaway, but with not the means that you normally would have to pay for things. So that was a different kind of challenge. And as a producer, maybe you mentioned that because it was my first time, I didn't know about it. My first animation movie, Tadeo Jones. In the making, many times I thought this would be my last film because I had put so much into it that I thought if I don't recover it, I'll never be able to make another movie again after this one. But luckily enough, it was the biggest success from of all the Kiru films that I had made till then. So now we're already making the third part of it.
Okay, excellent. Well, we'll go on talking about films and other things a little bit later, but before that, we have 2 masterpieces of English literature in this week's book and film recommendations brought by the Xarxa de Bibliotecas Municipales of the Diputació de Barcelona. Why are they worth reading or watching again and again? Let's find out with our librarian, Salvador Faura, and our cinema expert, Miquel López from Televisió de Badalona.
Not many people dare to read Shakespeare, and I think many people should. In special, many people should read Romeo and Juliet. That is because they think that it's a story about romantic love, and it is not. Romeo and Juliet, if you read it well, is actually a story on a study of love. You find temporary infatuations, you find people who find husbands for interest, you have people looking for partners for sex, homosexual relationships, all. Read Romeo and Juliet and rediscover it.
One of the first adaptations of Pride and Prejudice, the famous novel by Jane Austen, is also probably one of the best. It was made in 1940 and it was produced by Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, the leading studio at that time. Robert Z. Leonard directed this movie, which was adapted to the screen by the famous author Aldous Huxley. It included a British cast with people like Laurence Olivier, Greer Garson and Maureen O'Sullivan, very famous at that time. They pronounce the very English Jane Austen words with a very American California sun over them. Okay, then critics loved this movie very much because it told the story of the 5 Bennet girls and their fight to get an adequate marriage. But audiences didn't appreciate it so much. It was a movie that was considered there very complicated, but now it is considered one of the best adaptations of the book and a delicious and intelligent comedy of manners.
Romeo and Juliet and Pride and Prejudice, 2 fantastic classics to read or to watch. And now we're back to our chat with Edmon Roch, and we want to take this opportunity to present our brand new contributor, Toni de la Torre. Hello, Toni.
Hi, how are you?
It's great to see you, great to have you with us, and welcome.
Same here. I'm very glad and very happy to be here with you.
Thank you so much. Well, Toni de la Torre will be telling us about new releases of original TV series in English later on. But by the way, maybe we need to ask Edmon if he is hooked on any TV series at the moment.
I'm afraid, I mean, that's going to look terrible, but I don't have much time just to watch many series. So I'm just doing, I'm just hooked in certain things of true crime that I really like, because I'm just developing certain things also with Carla Porta here in Catalonia. And this is more part of my work that I have to do. But I just try to see as many movies as possible, but I don't see as much series as I would like.
Yeah, well, that's understandable.
Yeah, it's like 2 teams, right? You're the movie team or TV series team sometimes. But have you ever been inspired by a TV series as a producer?
Well, more and more, because they are, now really they have high standards and they are so well told, the stories, but they are like 2 different genres. One thing if you do just short stories or if you do just big novels, right? And with the TV series it's the same. But yeah, certainly, there are more and more references, and when we just create a new project, sometimes the references are not films, but series, even if you're making a feature film.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Actually, you've recently produced a TV series, Justo Antes de Cristo.
Yeah.
Had you produced any TV series before?
Apart from Justo Antes de Cristo, no, that was my first one.
And how was the experience compared to cinema?
Again, to us it was like just making a film in different parts. The sets, all the camera work, the atmosphere and everything was just working in the same way. And actually, at the beginning, I have to tell you that I was a little scared that we couldn't have the care and the time to just get the right elements in there, but actually it was real fun just to work with Movistar in that case, and just to create all this Roman world with the references that we had from Monty Python and from other. It was for us, it was just like MASH and Monty Python and all these things, but it was a fantastic experience.
Well, it was a funny project too to do, right?
Exactly.
And in the last decades, TV series have become like big productions with big budgets. Does the big money in Hollywood, at least, is now on TV series rather than movies? What would you say?
I think it's split. There are still the big action heroes and the big movies and all that, but then also you see that certain platforms that do series, also they are financing films. And you can see Cuarón or different big directors, or Scorsese working for Netflix or working for these platforms, also just to making feature films. So I think that lucky for all of us, which are the audience, we can choose, and the more that we can choose, the better for all of us, because we'll get better stories and wonderful things that you can just go to a theater to see it, or just in your home cinema, watching it quietly and with everything you need.
Now that you mentioned the home cinema, the lockdown and the pandemic had created the greatest condition for the streaming business to expand. In which ways have you noticed it? Have you been affected by this?
Well, we all have. I believe that everyone in the world, has been affected by this, and actually, I think it's a good thing because now, we got used to certain things that maybe we wouldn't have got used if this hadn't happened before. For me, for myself, I had the time just to sit down through certain things and just to go in different experiences that I wouldn't have had before. And I think this is a fantastic thing. Not all the things, there are always in the bad things, certain good things happen as well. And to me, one of the good things of this terrible pandemic time and lockdown, it has been the power and the possibility of just to sit down and watch these wonderful shows on different platforms.
Yeah, excellent answers, very satisfactory, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yes, indeed. Well, and now it's time for our question chain, Edmon. It's a surprise question for you from our last guest. We have the honor to have with us the conductor and composer Salvador Brutons. Let's see what he wants to ask you.
Okay, I'm Salvador Brutons, and I am a conductor and a composer, and I have a question for you. How much this coronavirus pandemic has affected your artistic life?
Good question.
It seems everybody has the same question.
Right.
Well, it has affected all of us, of course. Myself, I was going to shoot Las Leyes de la Frontera actually March last year. I had to stop everything 2 weeks before the start of the shoot, and actually I had to postpone it till September. And actually, it meant a complete different way of approaching a film shoot. I learned so many things about PCRs and about tests and about distances and about everything that you had to do with all these sanitary new measures. And actually, certain things that we just got for granted before were completely different. So actually, it was a new way of just producing movies in the pandemic time. And just I hope that luckily sometime soon we'll get rid of it.
Yeah, let's hope so, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Edmon, it's been a fantastic chat, really, really interesting, and thank you so much for coming, and keep up the good work, and best of luck with all your projects.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Well, Toni de la Torre will come back later to recommend some extraordinary TV series. So, Toni, see you in a while.
Okay, great.
And now it's time to kick off Words and Facts in a very different way with Mario Serra. That will be after a quick language tip. So are you planning to attend a wedding anytime soon? If so, Mark Broderick is going to teach us some words that can help you. So check it out.
Hi, so maybe you're attending a wedding soon, be it a friend, a family, or indeed your own wedding. And of course, you're going to need some vocabulary to navigate these tricky situations. Of course, the first ones we have are the bride and groom. Of course, the bride and groom could be two brides, or it could be two grooms, depending on the wedding you're going to. At the actual ceremony itself, and indeed before, the groom is helped by the best man, whose job is to bring the ring and organize the stag party. The bridesmaid, who helps the bride, of course, has a little bit more work to do with the planning, the dress, maybe the flower arrangements, the flower girls, etc. When it comes to the ceremony itself, of course, the bride and groom walk down the aisle, which is like a small passage between where everybody is seated at the ceremony. Now we come to the ceremony itself, and of course there is the exchanging of vows or solemn promises, till death do us part in some cases. And of course, when it comes to the moment where the bride or the groom must accept this solemn promise or vow, they would say, "I do." I do, you have seen thousands of times in many movies and TV shows, and of course it's one of the most popular auxiliary verbs that there is. And in the next tips, of course, we have the reception.
We are back, and as we mentioned before, today we are beginning a new feature in Words and Facts. Marius Serra is going to talk about words, but in a very different way, Marius, right?
Oh yes, Marcella, we'll talk about words, but not focusing on idioms, but on a very different way on headlines.
Headlines, a very interesting issue in English.
Yeah, they are quite singular because they are shorter, they have some syntax differences, and so I think they have an interesting view from the linguistical point of view. So the section would have a new name, and we will be in a new land, Headland. Do you like it?
I love the name. I love the name. Headland, to talk about headlines in English, which is a really fascinating subject. This strange syntax, shorter, like you said, sometimes playing with words.
Playing a lot with words.
Lots of puns.
Yeah. Sometimes you need to know the context to understand something, because you just look at them and say, what are they telling me?
Exactly.
Right?
It's like deciphering an enigma or a riddle. And talking about enigmas, right, before going to headlines, let's bring the guess word. And remind our viewers of our last guess word, the word puzzle Marius brings every week to make us rack our brains.
Oh, yeah. We'll have some minutes to think about them, and I'll just remind last week's guess word. It was a woman of noble birth in Amsterdam. It was 7-letter words. A woman of noble birth in Amsterdam.
Interesting one. Okay, we'll check that later. And now let's start with the headlines. I'm really curious to see what you've brought us today.
Yeah, we always will start with sort of an important breaking news, right?
Okay.
But this one is a very sad one because it's Prince Philip's death.
Right.
Right, he was very an old man, but the death is always a serious thing. We'll start not with a headline, but with the official tweet, royal family.
Right.
Because nowadays we live on all these Twitter, Facebook, all these places like new media, right?
Because we are in the 21st century, so
that's it.
Yeah.
Royal family. We have here, and we read it. It is with deep sorrow that Her Majesty the Queen has announced the death of her beloved husband, His Royal Highness the Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. His Royal Highness passed away peacefully this morning at Windsor Castle.
Passed away, interesting term they used.
This is a sort of a euphemism or elegant way to say he's dead, right? Because, but this is not a headline. You will never find something so formal in a headline. You need something more straightforward, right? So let's have a look about diverse headlines saying this new. For instance, 7 news, breaking news, Prince Philip dies aged 99, as you see. Hindustan Times, all over the world, India, right? Prince Philip dies aged 99. NPR, Great Britain's Prince Philip dies at age 99. And finally, The Guardian, which is the British serious newspaper, Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Philip dies aged 99. What do you see, Marcella? What they are focusing on?
Well, on his old age, of course, almost a century, right?
Yeah.
But I read that he actually didn't want to reach his centennial. He said, I think one of the saddest thing I can imagine is to get to 100.
Oh.
Actually, he would have been, I think, 100 in June.
So, a couple of months he was still...
Yep.
But Her Majesty, the Queen, maybe she is younger and maybe she wanted him to
reach
be
100, of course.
Right.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Okay, so did all of these titles mention the age or the number?
Not all of them, most of them, as you can see, but I have found some of them with different ways of mentioning it. For instance, these edicts that makes the Duke of Edinburgh 1921, 2021. It's, well, that's true, but it's...
I don't really understand.
Well, it tries to say it's the whole century.
Ah, okay.
Right? Like at an encyclopedia.
Ah, okay.
When you find someone,
Right.
the year, the age
True.
exactly is because you just have 2 years there. It's elegant, but maybe it's sort of tricky, right? Because he would be a centennial here.
Exactly.
And another way could be the globe. I have this one, which is Prince Philip, 97, died and came back to life.
That's
that's not a joke. That was 2 years ago.
Really? I didn't know you can die twice.
No.
Yeah? Or maybe it's a privilege for the royal family.
Well, look at him here at this headline. He was really a very old man. He was not good looking
in
by
not
now.
a very good shape.
Yeah, he was quite ill. So 2 years ago, people thought that he would die. And the Globe, which are a sort of popular press, so yellow press, we would say, had this headline, absolutely comic, but terrific as well.
Yeah.
Died and
Quite
came
terrific.
back.
I guess they apologized, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
They apologized.
Okay, and now I thought maybe have a look at other headlines of other members of royal family, how headlines reflect when they were dead. So that I started with the Queen, but the Mother Queen. I mean, the Queen is still alive. So the Queen Mother. We have here at Sunday Express, the Queen Mother is dead. No allusion to her age.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't know exactly. Maybe she was on her 80s or on her 90s. She was quite old, but there was no allusion to her age, right? And another very famous member of the royal family, Diana.
Diana.
That was absolutely the great tragedy. As you can see, this Daily News, Sunday, the New York Times, everywhere, Diana is dead. Diana dead.
Diana dead, 2 words.
2 words. Maybe one word would be just dead and her face, right? That's a straightforward headline.
You don't have to add anything else. It says it all, right?
Yeah. That's the main idea with headlines. You have to convey a meaning, an information. So it's on the first glance. You have to understand that, right? Okay, but I have found that in other cases, headlines reflected the age of a very important people or famous people dying, right?
Okay, let's see.
So I started with a king, but not a royal king, another sort of king. Los Angeles Times, Elvis Presley is there.
Okay, the king of rock and roll.
Yeah, king. Sorry.
No.
I missed.
No, we're talking about Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
yes.
well, there are lots of kings, as you can see, but King of Pop is dead at 50. He was very young. That was important for them to convey that the tragedy was not only that he was dead, but that he was dead at 50. I think he was very young because I'm 58, right? But absolutely he was. Okay.
Yeah, indeed.
Okay, we can have a sort of countdown and going to another king, your king. This king is yours. This is the good one, Elvis.
That was even younger, at a younger age, 42. That's also a tragedy.
Yeah, that was in 1977. This is the Daily Mail headline. And it's not so straightforward at others. Look at them. Elvis, king of rock, with an opposition, dies at 42. That's quite long for a headline, but it's very shocking.
And with the subhead, Presley collapses at Memphis mansion.
That's it. Sometimes subtitles try to amplify the information, but the main aim of a headline is to shock you, to get your attention so that you buy the newspaper. Of course, that's the main idea. And I have another another even more sadder headline with Belushi, right? Belushi dies at 33. That was really, really, really young. It was in 1982. This is Daily News again. And 99, 50, 42, 33. That's a sort of fatal countdown.
And capital letters as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he is in the whole cover, but with other news as well. Jobless rats and the everyday life coming with tragedy, because that's
really shocking
journalism.
Indeed.
Yeah. So I have thought this at this country, at this headland country, that we will end each week with a sort of our view, a sort of weekly magistral quotation.
Okay,
right?
sounds good.
The weekly Mac, but magistral, right? So, and at this time, the first week, I have found Mark Twain, right? And Mark Twain said, after hearing that his obituary had been published in the New York Journal, he said, "The reports of my death are greatly exaggerated." I love Mark Twain, right?
Me too. He had this great irony. He's one of my favorite writers, actually.
And he, in Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn, was famous to write down the death of Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn, watched by them, because it was a false death. So that's the idea of this sort of magistral quotation, right?
Okay, it's good to conclude with a bit of irony and a bit of humor, even if it's dark humor, right? And in spite of the topic, which is a bit gloomy, this has been a really, really interesting view on the press and a really great introduction on our new section headlines. And now, Marius, I think it's time for guest word.
Yeah, I think that we have to reveal first last week's guest word.
Right.
And I think you know it, because you absolutely had, I saw in your eyes that you knew a woman of noble birth in Amsterdam. What would you say?
Yeah, well, Duchess. Is that correct?
That's it. She is Dutch, and she's a Duchess because a woman of noble
indeed.
birth is a Duchess. That's a sort of homophonic game.
Right. Well done for me. Yeah, that was
1 point.
yeah. Thank you. Okay, and as I said last week, I think I told you, and not just me, everybody tells you that your enigmas are getting better and better. And now we're looking forward for next week.
That's it. Let's see, because next week will be quite a little bit longer.
Okay.
Right? But I think it's not necessarily more difficult.
Are you
Next
sure?
one will be the responsibility of being Robin's father at Sherwood. 10 letters, longer. The responsibility of being Robin's father at Sherwood. 10 letters.
Okay, well, here you have our treat for puzzle lovers, our guess word. You can have a go at cracking it, and if you do, you can post your answer on our social media profiles all week. Well, Mario, thanks a lot. It's been really fun to talk about headlines with you. Headline is our new section, so next Saturday, we'll wait for more.
Okay, we'll be there.
Yeah, see you next week.
Thank you.
And I will continue with words and facts with 3 things we didn't know about. Stuff from Ana Priscila Magriña, and with our reporter from Sleepy Hollow, New York, Hannah Becker. But before that, we want to introduce you to a very special person. Lina Fernanda Casallas is a Colombian lettering artist based in Barcelona. She's in love with the world of handcrafted letter forms, and when she works her art, she transforms into Nenda type. We visited her studio for this portrait.
I'm Nanda Type. I'm a Colombian lettering artist. I come to Barcelona to study typography, calligraphy, and sign painting. And then the magic of the city caught me. Here I had the opportunity to personally meet some of my greatest idols in the world of design and lettering. I believe in the need for the handmade in the digital era in a world that imposed the yoke of immediacy and overproduction. One of the techniques I enjoy the most is glass-engraved calligraphy. I have worked with brands like Torre, making calligraphy engraving on glass, customizing their product, making each of them one of a kind. I have collaborated with co-working spaces such as Beta House Barcelona, transforming their entrance gates with colorful leather shapes that speak about their values. The Alter Life of the Objects is a project in which I question overproduction and overconsumption. I'm also about to launch an online calligraphy workshop. What I enjoy the most is working in personal projects that stand for human rights, question the status quo, or leave a social message. I'd like to prepare an exhibition about migration. It will talk about neocolonialism, xenophobia, institutional racism, and the need to defend human rights and migration. And a series of works called Falsos Positivos to show the systematic killings of people by the Colombian military. I believe in the emotional, sensory, and social of everything handmade, in the beauty of imperfection, and in the power of leather shapes to tell stories.
And after this wonderful portrait of Lina Fernanda Casallas, let's complete Words and Facts with Hannah Becker and Anna Priscilla Magriña. Welcome, girls.
Thank you. Hello.
Just girls today.
Yeah, it's girl power.
Great.
Yeah. Ladies' night on the Weekly Mag. Let's do it.
Exactly, girls' time. So, Hannah, you went looking for lost vocations this week. Not vacations, vocations.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, jobs, right? Or lost or found vocations, maybe, right? I think like a lot of people think that they want to be one thing when they're kids, and then often it's really different when they grow up. So yeah, I went out on the street to see if people could compare their childhood dreams versus the reality of now, and let's see if they matched up or not.
What did you want to be when you grew up, when you were a kid?
An astronaut.
What's your job now?
I'm a journalist.
I wanted to be a writer, but suddenly I become a scientist.
I wanted to be a dentist, and after that I decided to be a veterinary. I studied law, then I quit law, and then I started to study arts, and right now I am working in a technology company.
I think the first idea was to be a millionaire. Actually, I'm part of the show business.
I wanted to take care of horses. I have a translation company. Nice. Nothing to do with anything.
Yeah. Right, looks like dreams don't always come true.
No, they don't. And it's probably a good thing, right? Because like, could you imagine we all ended up doing the job that we wanted to be when we were kids?
Yeah, there's like 1,000 astronauts, 1,000 football players, I don't know.
Yeah,
or
we'd have too many pop
of
stars.
Or millions of them, millions of millionaires. See, like the world wouldn't be able to keep up this way.
It'd be chaotic. It'd be a little chaotic for sure.
Well, I don't know if you and Priscilla, you've always wanted to amaze people with surprising facts. If you've always wanted to become a living encyclopedia, right? I don't know. But I suspect it's entirely a vocation in your case.
Well, My parents are both history teachers, so I had something of this at home. But actually, I wanted to be a singer. So yeah, my dreams never came true.
Well, on the show,
Well,
sometimes
maybe
you get to
sometime. Exactly, because you sing
It's
very
good
well.
for the world. That I don't sing that much. Trust
That
me.
much. Only a little bit. So what have you brought for us today?
I have I know San Jordi was a few weeks ago, but I'm still with a little bit of San Jordi's hangover. I don't know if you already read the books you bought, or they are still...
Definitely.
Yeah?
I'll tell you about it a bit later.
Okay.
Because
But
it's a bit
today I
interesting.
bring you 3 things you didn't know about authors or books.
Authors
I don't
or
know
books, interesting.
if you're a big fan of the Harry Potter saga, guys. You like
Love Harry Potter. Not so sure about J.K. Rowling, but big fan of Harry Potter.
Okay.
Well, it's a great book. It's a great saga. We must admit it.
Well, I have to say, I
grew up with it, so you know.
Yeah, I started reading the first one, and I found it pretty boring.
Yeah.
And I never continued. But let's see, for the fans of Harry Potter, there's the first thing you must know. J.K. Rowling wasn't the first author to write about Harry Potter. Oh my
No
God!
way.
Oh my! That's the reaction I
No
was
way.
looking for.
She stole the idea. Believe it. Really?
The thing is that we have to go back to communist Poland, specifically to the 19th of March of 1972. That's 20. That is real specific. 25 years prior to the publication of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, because that day, the poet Jan Rostorowski, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, published a short...
I think it's okay, Rostorowski.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm good at Polish. Published a story called Harry Potter.
Really?
Yeah, and it's weird, but it obviously doesn't have anything to do with the wizard we all know and some of you love.
Doesn't seem like a particularly Polish name either, Harry Potter.
I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
not really, no.
I don't know where he got inspired. The thing is that it didn't have anything to do with the Harry Potter we all know, because the Polish Harry Potter is a 17-year-old shopkeeper who specializes in the famous original Krakowian sausage and pickles. So,
It's a kind of magic in itself, right? The
if
sausage?
sausages are really good, and if you like pickles, I love them. So it's magic.
It's better to think that they're made through magic than how they're actually made, right? Probably.
But the magic here is like the coincidences of names, because as you say, Harry Potter doesn't sound very Polish, but Richard
weird.
Kapuscinski sounds more Polish, maybe.
What
But
a
here you
weird
have
fact.
it.
I like that fact. That's a good one.
Yeah,
And
me too.
I don't know, guys, if you're fans of the Krakowian sausages and pickles, but I can tell you, I'm sure all the dogs in the world wouldn't mind to try this delicious delicacy. And for sure, John Steinbeck's dog would have loved such a feast because, my friends, and this is fact number 2, John Steinbeck's dog ate the original manuscript of what later became the novel of Mice and Men, published in 1937.
Wow.
I don't know if you're the type of people who are working on the computer and keep saving. And well, now most of the programs, they save themselves.
You're in the
after a
cloud
while.
anyway.
Yeah, it's automatic.
But do you remember the old times that you had to keep saving and saving and saving? And I don't know if you have ever lost something that you have been working for a while and never recovered it.
Back in school for sure.
Sounds like an excuse, right? My
Maybe-
computer crashed.
Yeah.
I can't, I don't have the homework that
My
I
dog
yeah.
ate my computer.
I didn't do my homework because of my computer.
In
It crashed.
Steinbeck's case was for real. He had this dog, he was an Irish setter named Toby.
A very hungry dog.
Yeah, he was very hungry.
Hungry for
Maybe
literature.
he wasn't feeding him enough, or...
I think he was a puppy, so you know how puppies are, and they like to play with everything, even with your future novel.
Yeah.
And Steinbeck, he could have used a typewriter or other things. He really liked to write his novels by hand, so he didn't have any copy of it. And it was already 1936, so people had been using typewriters for quite a long time on the moment. But he was writing this manuscript by hand. Toby got it, grabbed it, and it shredded into pieces. And Steinbeck, he wrote to his agent saying, minor tragedy, stock, minor, okay.
Yeah, it depends.
Like a pretty big tragedy.
It depends how you look at it, right?
I don't know whether I told you, my setup left alone one night, dun dun, dun dun, made confetti of about half of my manuscript.
Okay, so minor problem, that's kind of an understatement.
Yeah,
I
because
think.
it was 2 months' work to do over again.
Oh my God.
I think he has a sense of humor here. I would have been like, what the hell? You talk!
Take it out.
Yeah, you don't have to be violent.
What did his publisher say?
I don't have the answer, but I'm guessing he was like, okay.
He wasn't very happy,
Yeah,
right?
write it again all along.
I wonder if the book would have been better if we had seen the first manuscript. You know,
Exactly.
like it's already a classic American
who knows?
book, and like
Steinbeck wanted to think that it was for the good and that was a sign of
But
the
actually,
heaven.
this book became really successful. It was a bestseller, so maybe the dog did him a favor.
Yeah,
right?
that's what he liked to think, that the book needed so much editing that it was best to start.
Just eat it.
From the beginning. Yeah,
So
just
is
eat
this
it.
like, I don't know, is this really true, or it's
It is
something
true.
that Steinbeck made up, or did it really happen?
If he made it up, he wrote about it everywhere, and because this letter to the publisher is for real. I don't know, maybe he was so imaginative that he liked to make up things in his letters, but no,
Or maybe,
it is for real.
I know you have another fact for
Yeah?
us, but we need to wait for it because before we go on, we need to interrupt you to announce that today we'll be having a chat with the singer Suzanna. She's ready on our stage with her band. They'll be singing an original song live on our show, so I recommend you stick around. You like music? You like Suzanna? You'll love her. She's great. And also, I need to tell you that, well, you might have also seen that we have a new contributor today, Toni de la Torre, and of course, we'll also be having our Guess What quiz and much more, so we'll be right back. Welcome back. We were talking with our reporter Hannah Becker and Ana Priscila Magriñá, who has brought 3 facts we didn't know about books and authors. Ana Priscila, what is the last fact? The third
Yeah,
fact.
I know you have been all waiting for this last fact, so here it comes. It's an amazing fact that you may not
as
know.
usual.
Fact number 3, the Japanese have a word to describe the fact of buying reading material and letting it pile up at home.
Right.
Tsundoku. Tsundoku.
Not Sudoku.
Not Sudoku. Tsundoku. Maybe you have done this San Jordi, or other San Jordis, that you buy a lot of books. You're like, yeah, I need this book. I'm gonna read it right away. You pile it up, and after a while, it's like, okay, maybe I should start reading it. So now, you know you have a word, tsundoku.
Okay,
But the English also has its own vocabulary for bookworms, and there's a word that describes the love of the smell of old books, bibliosma. Yes, bibliosma.
Bibliosma. That doesn't sound very beautiful.
Yeah.
It's really made up. No, it does exist, bibliosma. And yet another word, one that people who practice tsundoku don't need to learn because it's a bibliophobia, the fear of running out of reading material. I don't know what describes you better, girls. Tsundoku, bibliosma, or a bibliophobia?
I will go for the first one. Though I do like to read as much as I can. I do have lots of piles of books around. So yeah, maybe I should call Marie Kondo. That's the art of tidying up, right?
Yeah.
The problem is all of my books spark joy.
Okay, fair point. And now it's time for Hannah's report. We've seen that you decided to ask people in the street, if they fulfilled their childhood dreams. I wonder what that inspirational topic came to you.
As you saw in the video, it's really interesting to see the difference of like what people wanted to be when they grew up versus what they are now. Because you know we're all told from a young age, you know, we're all asked from a young age, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And we're told that there's going to be some perfect job for you. But I mean, I wanted to be a million things when I grew up, so I thought it'd be fun to kind of go on the street and see what people thought.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, let's watch the video.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure. Let's check it out.
You know, when I was a kid, I really wanted to be a spy when I grew up, but I think being followed around by cameras and talking to strangers on the street isn't quite keeping a low profile. So I'm gonna talk to some people and find out what they wanted to be when they grew up. Maybe they're following those dreams, or they're like me, just sneaking around a bush. When you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I think the first idea was to be millionaire.
What do you do now?
I'm unemployed.
When I was a kid, I wanted to be a dentist and have a beautiful smile. That dream flew away at the first time I went to the dentist and I realized how painful it was.
I could never be a doctor because this just hurts your ears too much. Okay, now take a deep breath. Breathe in with your mouth. Mm-hmm. Oh, you don't have a mouth. Okay, that's fine.
I wanted to be a writer, but suddenly I become a scientist, a boring scientist.
Oh my God.
So
How did that happen?
with my friends we play like that we were dinosaurs. So maybe I think like there's like an explanation for that.
What kind of dinosaur were you?
Diplodocus.
Do they make a sound?
Jesus. You want me to make the sound?
Yeah. That's amazing. Oh man, I thought it would be really fun to be a soccer player, but after playing for literally 3 minutes, I'm exhausted. It's not for me. It's not for me. It's not gonna happen.
I wanted to be an astronaut because I wanted to fly to the moon. I asked my parents if that was possible. Maybe yes, but it was very, very expensive. So I decided to travel, but near places.
Terrestrially, yeah.
Yeah.
I just finished painting this beautiful art. You know, it's always been my dream to be a street artist. So here you go. Look at my work. Did you ever want to be anything artistic?
Actually, dancing has followed me a bit.
Can you show us some moves?
Really?
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead. You know, guys, it's never too late to honor your inner child and follow your dreams. So I'm gonna go out there and be a spy. And if you did something wrong, I'm coming for you. I'm gonna find you. Maybe I'm right behind you right now.
So Hannah, is that true? You really wanted to be a spy?
Oh yeah, I mean, one of the million things that I wanted to be when I was a kid. I was so fascinated by spies. I think I read a lot of like novels, like teen novels with spies in them. And
Cool.
But now I'm like, I would be so bad at it.
Yeah.
It'd be terrible.
Maybe it is too late now for you to be a spy.
Yeah, I think so. I don't have any of the skills. I actually also have another special video from my journey talking to people. Like, you know, when you ask people about their childhoods and about their dreams, you're likely to run into some traumas. Right?
Oh my God.
So I found a really interesting story from this woman, if you want to take a look.
That's an extra, right?
Yeah, an extra special video.
Nice.
I wanted to take care of horses. One day when I came out of the house, there was a snake in front of the door, and I started playing with it, and I went to see my dad. Maybe, you know, we can take it and go and give it to the horses. And he came and he looked at the snake, went back in the house, brought like this big chopper, cut the head of the snake, traumatized me. And then he said, you can't take care of animals, you can't do that. And I kind of made, you know, related the snake to the horses and said, okay, I'll never take care of the horses ever. And also the snake thing came back because I had a roommate. He had a snake as a domestic animal. One day we were sitting there and suddenly he just went like, my snake is gone. Every morning he woke up and the snake was just there at the bottom of his bed, like completely stretched out, as if he was sleeping next to his bed. And when the vet listened to the story of the guy, he said, your snake is actually evaluating whether he can eat you or not. And I had nightmares about the snake stretching at the bottom of the bed for weeks and weeks and weeks.
Oh my God, wow.
Wild, right? Yeah, that sounds serious.
Yeah, that was very
For how long
intense.
were you talking to this lady? She really wanted to talk to someone.
Oh yeah, she really needed to like get this out, I think. I think it was, I don't know if it was something that she talked about before.
She saw you as a psychologist or something like that.
I don't know, I have that vibe about me. People just want to tell me they're...
You could be a good psychoanalyst, I think.
Yeah, I could try. I mean, I'm on this couch and everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, hello, is there something wrong? I mean,
and it's always
that kind of voice, right?
That kind of voice, and it's always related to your parents. It's always your parents' fault.
Yeah.
Or something happened when you were
There
a
is
child.
always a childhood trauma.
Yeah.
No, a trauma.
do you guys
from
have
your childhood.
any snake-related stories?
If we
too?
have
'Cause-
any childhood traumas?
No, we don't.
I don't
we don't
know
have to
if
talk
we
about
have
that.
time for this right now.
But anything with snakes, because this was so weird that this woman
hate
had
them.
all of this stuff about snakes.
I hate them. I don't know. I hate them.
Yeah.
Well,
And I think a good screenwriter could make all the things you bring into a fantastic TV series. Talking of which, are you into watching TV series on streaming platforms?
Yeah. I love series.
I consume so much content. It's
Yeah.
really horrifying.
Are you watching a lot of series at the moment?
One of the series I finished recently is I May Destroy You, which I really liked. It's really intense, but really, really good.
Sounds good.
Really well
And
done.
in filming, The Virtuous, which is kind of sad and really intense as well. So if you're depressed, don't watch them.
Okay, so if you like TV series, you're in luck because from now on, the expert in TV series, Toni de la Torre, is going to recommend the latest and the best series in English we can find. And he is already waiting to tell us all about some new TV series in English. So stick around, you'll love it, I'm sure. Okay, again, Anna, Priscilla, and Hannah, thank you so much for your words and facts, and I'll see you next time. And now please pay attention because we are about to meet an outstanding musician. You'll love her music. Watch this, Suzanna.
L'hospitalet jugava al carrer, tant si feia núvol com si feia vent, diria que hi ha una veu interior meu que em diu confia, la meva arrel m'empeny, no puc amagar.
This is a special sparkle, one of the latest releases from the singer, guitarist, and composer Suzanna. Reggae, trap, and soul are the styles that predominate in her first solo album called Soul Fire. But one single album cannot summarize the career of this accomplished musician. Let's talk to her. Suzanna Abellan, welcome to the Big
Hello, nice to meet you.
It's a pleasure to have
It's
you
a
here.
pleasure.
Nice to meet you too. How did you become a musician in the first place? How did you first get in contact with music, and how did you decide to study at SMUC? Where you studied modern music.
My father and my mom. My mom likes a lot to dance, and my father likes a lot music. He's a big fan of groups like Queen, and he always influences us like listening this kind of good music. Right. And I always have the feeling. I'm always playing that I have a band when I was little.
You were dreaming of having a band.
Yeah, and after I decided to play with a band, like playing, not serious. And after I decided to study. I studied in a lot of places with a lot of teachers, but I have to say that my real teachers are the bands, because you can learn a lot of things with teachers, and it's good because you take care of yourself and these things, but the real teachers are the band.
You could say that you are self-taught in that respect. Something that people don't know about you that much is that you spent some time in Morocco, in Rabat, 4 years. And tell us about your experience there. Describe a little bit the musical scene in Morocco compared to the musical scene in Barcelona. You also won an award there, an important award.
It was like, what?
Yeah.
I decided to go there because I didn't have a good work in music here.
Okay.
And I have a lot of work there. I decided to stay there, and Moroccan people take care of me, and it's like a family now. And I have to say that this is a rich country with a lot of different types of styles, musics and influences, French influences, African influences.
Of course.
And I learn a lot from these people on Ginawa sounds and reggae sounds and the language.
And then you came back to Barcelona and actually participated in the semi-finals of the talent show La Voz.
Yeah.
What was that experience like and how did it change your career?
I think that this experience gave me security and confidence with myself, but nothing else. Because you think when they call me and they say, "Hey, we want that you come to participate," and I say, "Me? Okay, I go." But I didn't understand a lot because I'm in alternative music and it's another thing. And I went and I see like I step by step I continue in the TV show, and I arrived to the semifinals and it was like what I'm doing here.
After the lockdown, you released a few singles.
Yeah.
Okay, you started with Bye Bye, continued by others such as Rara and so on. Tell us a little bit about these singles, your recent singles.
Bye Bye, it was like I have to do something because I don't want to stop my work. I can't live without working in music. And it's for this reason this video clip is full of colors and full of hope. This single gives me hope to continue in the lockdown. After the revolution of Rara, feminism, equality, women, we are here, sorority, this kind of message, no? Yeah. Important, super important.
Very important, of course.
And then with La Panchita Records, the two singles are like Somnis and Special Sparkle, reggae.
Okay. And today what are you going to play for us?
Today is a song that is new song, and the name is Funny.
Yeah?
Funny.
So it's not released yet?
Not released yet. It's a surprise, it's a gift for you all.
Thank you. Very pleased.
Thank you. And talks about heroine. The woman name is Fanny Luhammer. It's a black woman who fight for civil rights and he get to go to vote.
So it's based on a real character?
Real, yeah. I was searching about women that inspire me, and this touched me because she was in jail. She get hurt and a lot of bad things, but she continue.
So basically, a woman who fought for freedom and for women's rights.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, and you are accompanied today on stage by three musicians. Can you introduce them to us before we go?
Here, Fede Salgado is from La Patagonia, bass player.
Right.
My brother Juan from Hospitalet, Al Cajón.
Your little brother, right?
My little brother. And Armando Arenas on the guitar is from Mataró. And we have Dani that is not here today, is the keyboard player. Dani Lampérez is from Castellón.
Excellent. Okay, welcome guys, and we are really looking forward to listening to your music. The stage is yours. Thank you so much, Suzanna.
Thank you.
Growing up in a deep South Mississippi Delta, sharecropper community, she brings the struggle life. She thinks about in good health. Why isn't she allowed to raise their boys in town? Try, funny, try Don't shed your tears and try, funny, try. Try, funny, try. If I don't get no sleep, I think of everything you did. Still next, funny, you want to believe. Funny, you want to believe. Oh, funny, you want to believe. Yeah. Funny went to the register to register and vote. She was fired from a job just for attempting it. We are sick and tired. To be sick and tired. We are sick and tired. Second class citizen, become one class. Try, funny, try. Don't shed your tears. Try, funny, try. Oh, oh. Try, funny, try. If I don't get no sleep, I think of everything you did. Still, it's funny you I do believe. Oh, funny you I do believe. Oh, funny you I do believe. Oh, funny, you're funny. Oh, don't shed your tears. Try, funny, try. No people I cry. Try, funny, try. Yeah. Woman asking for their rights, thrown in jail for sitting on a white bus places. They think they're gonna make it, nah. But funny does not back down. They think they're gonna make it. But funny never, never does not back down. If funny try, don't shed your tears. Oh, try, funny, try. Funny, try. Now people know, people know, people know, people know, people are cry. Oh, don't shed your tears for me. No, no. Yeah. We are sick and tired. To be sick and tired. We are sick and tired. Second class citizen, become one class. Oh, we are sick and tired. To be sick and tired. We are sick and tired. Second class citizen, no people are crying.
Well, thanks to Suzanna and her band for that song. Congratulations, it's been amazing. And now, as Toni promised before, time for TV series. So hello again, Toni.
Hi, how are you?
Hi and welcome.
I'm very happy to be here.
We are very happy too. We've introduced Toni de la Torre before, and we had the opportunity to talk with the Catalan producer Edmon Roch. Every week, Toni is going to take us through some recent releases in English on the main streaming platforms. So, Toni, first of all, I'd like to know, because I'm really curious to find out, how do you watch TV series? Do you watch them in original version with subtitles, yes or no?
Of course, original version and without subtitles.
We like that.
Yeah, most of the time, because it's the only way for me to do it, because I watched it in advance and there are no subtitles. But for people who want to learn English, I think it's the best method is use subtitles in English.
Yeah.
But most of the people use subtitles in Spanish or Catalan, or I think go to the subtitles, past the subtitles in English is the best step to then forget about the subtitles and enjoy the show it was originally made.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and make the most of it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Of the language and the voice of the actors and everything. Yeah. Okay, and do you always watch the latest releases, the newest things, or you like to go back to classics as well?
I don't have time to go back to classics. I do have some episodes because I teach in a school with writers, and there are some episodes that I show them every year, and there are 3 groups. So there's some episodes I have seen a lot of times, but I don't go in my spare time. I don't have time to go back to classics as much as I enjoy.
Yeah, well, that's understandable.
Yeah, The Sopranos, Lost. I love to, but it's difficult.
All right, Toni, so let's begin with the first TV series that you brought to us today. I think it's a series that is coming back on Monday after a decade.
A decade, yeah, 10 years. It's in treatment.
Okay, let's watch it.
I'm glad you came back. Not to sound selfish, I'm worried about me. It's very normal, but I need to know more.
Depression? Anything like that? It's just not me.
Layla needs to understand that she was born black.
Nice one.
Yeah, it was a very interesting show back then because for 2 reasons. The main one is based solely on psychological stuff, so it was a show that went very deep into the characters. And the other one is the format. It's a TV show that has assigned a patient for every day of the week. Mm-hmm. So in Monday you have, we watch the session with patient 1, on Tuesday patient 2, and so on. So you
and on Friday it's the...
On Friday it's a psychiatrist
himself,
right? That he also has some problems. And it really gave the sensation, the feeling, that you were on a real schedule of a real psychiatrist office.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So you said that it's based on an Israeli TV series.
Yeah, in fact there are a lot of American TV shows that are based on Israeli TV series that most of the people are not aware of. In Treatment is one of them, but also Homeland, for example, or Euphoria. Yeah. And all of them are very successful shows.
Mm-hmm. And why do you think that In Treatment is back now after 10 years?
I think because it's a very easy show to film within the restrictions of COVID.
Right.
It has a very few actors. It's based only on dialogue. And I think back then didn't tackle some issues that the television of today are really interested in. Back then the main character was played by Gabriel Byrne. Mm-hmm. And in the new season the psychiatrist is Uswa Duba. She is black and a woman, and I think that says a lot of the intentions of the new seasons, which is talk about depression, but talk also about racism and feminism and inequality.
Of course. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right, any more series about psychology? Because we love TV series that deal with psychology. Any more like that you can recommend?
Okay, you have State of the Union. It's a TV show. Right. Yeah, it's about a couple that goes into therapy, but we never see the actual therapy. You only see the 10 minutes before they meet in a pub. So you see the 10 minutes before the therapy, and the audience has to put the pieces together about why they are going to counseling and what happened in their previous session. It's a show written by Nick Hornby, which is really an expert in broken hearts stuff.
Yeah, of course.
Remember High Fidelity and...
Yeah.
And
shall we have a look first?
Yeah, of course.
If it wasn't for me, we wouldn't be here.
You slept with someone else, and now here we are.
We are in a permanent marital crisis. But I don't want to run away from this. Tom!
It's like Brexit. We could have 2 years of talk before we even agree what the issues are.
We live on a fault line and the house might collapse at any moment.
Counseling is an ongoing process. You learn.
Yeah, and the couple is played
amazing.
by Chris O'Dowd and Rosamund Pike, and they are a magnificent couple to lead a show with, I think.
Actually, this TV series actually has got amazing reviews, and I'm really looking forward to watching it because I still haven't.
I think you'll like it.
Yeah, I'm sure I will. Okay, now Toni has got more serious up his sleeve. That will be after a short break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Toni della Torre is recommending some fantastic TV series. Another one that premiered recently is The Mosquito Coast on Apple TV, right, Toni?
That's really a show with mixed results, I think. It's a story of a father who takes all of his family and go on the run. He's a fugitive.
Okay.
The US government is looking for him. And really is an interesting character because he's contradictory. In one hand, he looks like a very good father, really, because he says he cares about his family. But on the other hand, he's putting his family in danger,
In great danger.
all of
Right.
the time.
So shall we have a look and then comment on it?
Everything's complicated, but there's always a solution.
Gotta go. Brilliant.
Yeah, when the show asks the viewer if he's really a good man or a very toxic one, which it could be both at the same time, it's a very interesting show. When it's like a survival story about a family that escapes all kinds of things, it's a very mixed show because it's hard to believe these people is escaping all kinds of dangers all the time.
Mm-hmm. And the main character is played by Justin Theroux, right?
Yeah.
The guy from The Leftovers.
The Leftovers, yes. He did a great job in The Leftovers. And really, he's the main thing to watch this because he gives really a solid take in playing this character that was already played by Harrison Ford in a movie in the 80s. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
The movie and the TV series are based on the same book, but the series really do his own thing.
And actually, the book is written by his uncle, right?
Yeah. So I think it may be a project that he wants to do very much because it's all about family, you know, inside the fiction and outside of it.
That's right. Okay, and the next TV series is a comedy that you recommended for viewers who want to have some fun. That's right.
Yeah.
Team B, need a ride?
Sorry I'm late, I just ran over there.
Michael and Eagle, a very brilliant lettings agency and the kind family business.
Many happy returns, I'm staff. Shall we wait for Mummy to go in or we just kind of charge in?
Me and her mum are separated.
Oh, God.
Those of you who like The Office, I don't know if you remember.
I loved it.
You cannot miss this one. It's called the Stas Let's Flats.
Yeah, very interesting name, by the way.
Yeah, and it's set on a real estate business. And the protagonist is a character. It's the worst sales agent ever, probably.
It's a disaster.
Yeah, it's a complete disaster. In every episode, he tries to rent some flat to a lot of people. He never succeeds, and it's a character that says the most uncomfortable and inconvenient things. His fakery is obvious. He lies to the face of the customers. So it's a TV show that, and he gets aggressive when he cannot rent a flat, which is very often. He gets aggressive. So it's a show that has you laughing at stuff like that. It's really a very British TV show.
Yeah, and I liked him very much in Fleabag as well. So I definitely want to watch this one.
Yeah.
Okay, and before you go, we'd like you to recommend us a TV series that we shouldn't watch because it's sometimes so hard to choose between so many TV series on platforms. So what should we not watch, Toni? Because you need to help us to choose. Otherwise, we waste so much time.
You have to say no to something, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I think it'd be wise to skip Belgravia.
Dear Lady Brockenhurst, could you find a moment when we might be alone?
It's quite a secret.
We chose a life of lies. Now those lies have returned to haunt us.
It's the new TV show by Julian Fellows.
Okay.
The writer of Downton Abbey. Yeah. It's the same thing all over again. It's Downton Abbey again. I think it's the bad habits of Downton Abbey compressed in one TV show. The story is like two aristocratic families that have a secret grandson. Only one of the two families knows about the grandson, and it looks tired, and it's derivative.
Yeah.
And the most important thing, I think, The Crown has made very hard to all these costume dramas, period dramas, to not look cheap. And this looks awfully cheap.
Yeah, the standards of The Crown are very high, so it's so difficult to watch something else. Yeah, I completely agree with you. Okay, looks like we've got some great recommendations to keep up our English in a very entertaining way. Thank you so much, Toni. It's been great to have you here with us for the first time, and looking forward to see you next week.
Okay, see you next week then.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wow, a great selection of TV series with Toni de la Torre, Sergi.
Absolutely, indeed. I have homework to do to catch up.
That's right. We all have homework to do, and we are reaching the last part of the show. It's playtime, Sergi.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for having me one more time, and welcome to Guess What, the quiz whose result you had better not put on your CV. And that's a fair warning to today's guest, Irene Meneguzzi. I've been rehearsing for the whole week. Sorry for that.
Hello, Meneguzzi.
Meneguzzi.
Irene Meneguzzi.
Yeah, welcome and thanks for coming.
Thank you, thanks very much.
Irene is a stand-up comedian who performs in English. She comes from Argentina, in particular from Rosario, as she says, the birthplace of Che Guevara, Messi, and most Argentinians living in Barcelona, where she's lived for 5 years now. So Irene, tell us how come you ended up doing comedy, stand-up comedy in English in Barcelona?
Yeah, it's random, right? It's very weird.
It's just comedy.
I do it in Spanish as well, so I do like Spanish and English. And I don't know, I joined a course because I wanted to do something, I wanted to write. And I thought stand-up might be fun, and it's comedy, it doesn't have to be, you know, very, because I'm very strict with myself, I'm very, judge myself a lot, so I thought, let's do something fun. But I never thought I would go on stage.
All right, that's a promise to you. So let's have fun and let's play together. Irene is going to take on two monsters today when it comes to playing this game. On her right, she has the content creator and producer Wendy Kessler, and on her left, and covering for our beloved Dr. Matthew Murtha, our old friend of the show, our beloved also a doctor too, Dr. Kandar Mehta, who holds a PhD at Business School, but he's also an actor and an expert in creativity processes. How are you, my friend?
I'm fine, and I have to make a confession, quick confession. So far, every time I participated here, I was under pressure, competition, it was creating stress. Today, I'm not under any stress.
Because it's all on her.
Yeah.
No pressure.
So I'm not going to pay attention to questions, I'm just going to express myself.
Okay, but
so
if you don't mind answering questions, that would be cool as well.
Okay, we'll meet halfway.
Okay, we'll meet halfway. Common ground.
Let's take it by ear.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely. All right, let's get right down to it. We will begin today's quiz with a multiple choice challenge. 1 point for every right answer.
That's right, for Irene and our new viewers, the game is very easy. Sergi got hold of a camera and has been on the lookout for stories related to planes and airports. So you'll hear the first part of a personal story, and you have to guess the correct ending out of 3 options. And here is our first story.
I was in Frankfurt, in the airport of Frankfurt, and I was changing flights. I was coming from South Africa. And then I had a bottle of shampoo in my bag.
All right, so she was halfway through a transfer in Frankfurt airport with a bottle of shampoo in her backpack. What did it happen? A, they stopped her because they thought she carried explosives. B, they made her go to a desk to check the bottle in. And C, she dropped the shampoo accidentally and provoked some slips. What's the real story here?
I go for A. She's got a face of a terrorist.
Yeah, definitely, right?
Definitely.
If there is a terrorist look, that's her.
It's her.
How about you?
I would go for A as well. Yeah,
Terrorist
yeah.
option,
Because
for
I mean,
sure.
like explosives in a little bottle of shampoo makes sense.
Yeah, it totally makes sense.
Yeah,
There we
yeah.
go. Doctor?
Okay, let's take a step back.
Okay.
Let's
right
go
now?
to-
All right. Sorry.
So she's coming from South Africa to Frankfurt. Maybe it is Johannesburg to Frankfurt.
Okay.
Johannesburg has great security.
I love having doctors on set, but let's get to the point.
Okay. Let's go for A.
A. So all this science to get to option A.
That's the beauty of science.
That's it. Is it?
Okay.
Yeah.
The police stopped me and said that I had explosives in my bag.
Science indeed, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well done, you
Everybody
all.
is correct.
Yeah, right
Excellent.
answer. Yeah.
Excellent start.
That's why you shouldn't wash your hair during flights, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Let's go to the
Right,
next video.
exactly. It's time for our second video.
So I was traveling with 6 children. I was 21 then, and I was their teacher. We were traveling to Cincinnati at night in the airport, just running, whatever. So I was tired, and I told them, please, let's sleep. And they slept, so everyone was okay, and I also slept. So what happened? How did I wake up?
Good question. How? A very quiet trip, but who wake him up? Option A, the police, telling him one of the kids was arrested. Is that the suspicious look? Option B, one of the kids breaking wind in his face. You know? That's what, exactly. You got it. C, steward saying that the kids had boarded the plane without him.
Please let it be C.
You wanted the C to be.
Okay. C.
I want it to be C as well. Like,
It's probably not,
But
though.
wanting to means
Yeah.
we are picking that option, or it's just a wishful thinking option?
Vale,
I'm
probably
picking
it's
C.
B. That's funny, too.
Probably it's B. So
Okay, so B or C? B.
I'm picking C.
B, C. Doctor, what science says about it?
Well, science doesn't say much about this.
Thank God.
Yeah, because you know that flatulence option, it kind of threw me off. I would go for A.
So, the police.
Yeah.
Let's stick to the police officers. Okay, so we've got B, C, and A. So, let's check it out. What's the right one?
With a fart. The ass of a child farting in my nose, and that was it. A bad experience, totally.
We couldn't miss the opportunity to put a flatulence into the option.
Okay, so Wendy got the right option.
Well, when you have kids, you know that has a high probability of occurring, yeah.
Trusting your teachers, trusting your students, right?
Yeah.
Well, trusting how much kids actually fart.
There you go.
Right,
There you
and
go.
it's time to watch the third video.
I was on a waiting area, and this guy came in and sat in front of me, and he was very hot, like very hot. I was texting with my friends, and I wanted to take a picture of him and send it to my friend. So I did it, and when I pressed to take the picture,
I love this story. How it's gonna end? What happened then? Option A, the phone rang just at that moment. Option B, the camera flash went off. And option C, the man had actually 2 missing teeth. Like, you know, and all the hotness of this guy just went away. Which
gonna
is
go
the
with
right
B.
option?
Yeah, B.
B, definitely.
B.
Okay.
But I want a scientific explanation.
A scientific explanation about it?
No, let's try to, go step by step.
Okay.
Okay.
Again.
So step number 1 is she takes the camera out.
Uh-huh.
Step number 2, she's trying to take the picture.
That's it?
And
To
she
the hot
says,
guy?
now, she has not yet established any social
Not at
relationship
all.
with
Just
this
stalking
person.
a hot guy.
So the probability of the person showing his teeth to this girl is kind of 0.07. And that's why I would go for, you know, the camera flash going off.
That's,
Because the
again, a
probability
scientific
is-
explanation for
Yes.
the same answer. I love it.
Okay, everybody goes for B then, and let's see
Check
the
it out.
correct answer.
Exactly.
The flash came out. I wanted to die at that moment, and I started looking at my phone like, what's wrong with it? You know, like pretending there was something wrong with the phone. But he clearly caught me, and he just smiled. He didn't give me his number or anything. He just smiled and got back to his book, and that's it.
All right, so 2 and 2 points for the ones who are following Wendy's lead. How about that?
With 3 points, excellent.
There we go, and after knowing the score, let's play the second round and raise the stakes. 2 points for every right answer.
But first, let's watch a short language tip with our teacher, Mark Broderick. Check it out.
Hi, so welcome back. And in the previous tips, we talked about the wedding ceremony, etc. And now we get down to the really fun part. Of course, we have the reception or the party. Okay, this is a proper celebration after the ceremony where everybody gets together and drinks and eats and have a huge lavish meal. To celebrate who? The newlyweds, those who have just recently got married. It's a wonderful time where everybody can get together, have some drinks, some food, and just in the middle of all this, there's something very important, the best man's speech. The best man's speech, of course, where he tells a little story about how wonderful the newlyweds are, and he proposes a toast. A toast, of course, is everybody raises their glass, of course, sometimes with champagne, cava, wine, or whatever they may have in their glass, to toast the happy newlyweds. Following the speech, then we get down to the real nitty-gritty and fun of the whole ceremony itself. We have the first dance. The first dance can be one of two things. It can be the newlyweds, the bride and groom, or the two brides and the two grooms, having a dance in front of everybody else. Or it could be the father of the bride taking his daughter for her first dance as a newlywed. Well, for those of you who don't know, the final thing that happens, of course, is the throwing of the bouquet of flowers. And what happens? Well, if you catch it, they say that you are the next one to get married. Oh, well, there you go. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you, Mark, for that interesting tip. And now, yes, it's time for the speed challenge.
Absolutely indeed. Well, you know what day today is, right? Do you? Do you? Of course you do. Yes, it's the Buy an Instrument Day. No, joking. That's actually, that's the day. You just need to Google it. Trust me. Anyway, if you are thinking of buying one, you might be interested in the ones we are going to offer.
Yes, in this round, we are going to name some, let's say, not very common instruments. In 3 seconds, you will have to guess if they are real or if they are made up with the true or false signs.
Exactly. Those are the instruments for today. So here we go. Let's start. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
A chain harp. A harp with chains instead of strings.
True or false? False, false, and true, which means...
And it's false.
It's false. Job well done for the two of you, Irene and Wendy.
Yes, exactly.
Next, a mouse bagpipe. A pocket-sized bagpipe that sounds like a squeaking mice. True, true, and true. And it is false. Point go to no one.
A handset drum. A huge Mongolian drum traditionally carried by a horse.
True or false? True, true, and true, meaning...
And it's false.
It is false. Points go to no one again.
Nobody gets points.
Another one, a pyrophone, a gas-fueled keyboard that makes a sound with flames. Is it true or false? True, true, and true, meaning points go to all of you. Well done. It is true. Check it out. There you go.
A stylophone, a miniature keyboard operated with a stylus.
True or false? True, true, and false, meaning?
And it's true.
It is true, Irene.
Sorry, Wendy. Yes, Irene and Kandarp got the point.
Well done. A double saxo, a saxophone with a double bell or a horn. Is it true or false? True, false, and true, meaning That is false. Point goes to Irene. Irene, well done.
A singing Tesla coil. A Tesla coil that makes musical notes with sparks.
True, false, and true.
And it's true.
It is true.
So point goes to Kandarp and Wendy.
Wow, interesting.
There you go. I love this one. A toilet phone. Several toilets of different sizes in a row, which when flushed, each gives a different note. Is it true or false? True, false, and true. Irene got the points. It's false, thank God. But it would have been cool, right?
A glass harmonica.
That's it. Is it true or false? True, false,
And it's true. It's an invention of Benjamin Franklin. So
Wendy
and Kandarp are correct.
Well done. And a guitar-lele, a mix between a guitar and a ukulele. Is it true or false? True, false, and true. Meaning, Wendy and Kandarp got the points. It is true. There you go. Okay. It's exciting to know how the score looks right now. But before telling you, let's create some excitement moment to see the thrill of this precise moment.
Suspense.
Wendy is still on the lead with 13 points, followed right after by Irene. I'm changing your name. Irene and Kandarp with 12 points. We got a draw here.
We have a draw, exactly.
That means that everything can change. It's exciting, isn't it?
It is, indeed.
And
But the show is not finished.
it's
We
not
have,
absolutely. Today
more
our quiz is
going on.
shorter, right? Yeah, absolutely. Today our quiz is shorter, so we're going to decide our winner with an extra fast lyrics challenge. So take out your instruments, guys. There you go.
Okay, only one player can win this round. We're going to read out the lyrics of a famous song, okay? The first to identify the song wins. So as soon as you know it, you can play your instrument and answer. Anything goes. You can say the title, you can say the artist, you can continue with the lyrics, you can sing or even hum.
Absolutely.
Humming works.
Yeah, exactly. Now we have introduced a new rule.
Yeah.
The number of points at stake will depend on the line. Starting with 2 points on every line of the verse we read, we are going to double the value of the song. 2, 4, 8, and here it goes. Now, you know how it works. If you get it wrong, we will take that many points away from you. Painful, right? Love it.
You said you were not stressed today. You're starting to feel it.
Yeah, that is so harsh, taking points away.
He's just the calm and relaxed attitude.
Can I suggest a song so that I don't have to lose points?
No, you cannot.
Okay, so...
I know many songs. Okay, no.
Here we go.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Let's go for it.
So, for 2 points, right?
Yeah, for 2 points, here it comes.
You keep saying you got something for me.
Wendy?
You keep saying you got something for me.
Music, please!
Na, 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 na.
You've been a messin' where you shouldn't have been a messin'.
So fast.
And now someone else is getting all your best. These boots are made for walking.
And that's just what they'll do.
Exactly, yeah. That was These Boots Are Made for Walking.
Yeah, a #1 hit from the 60s and the most popular song of Frank Sinatra's daughter. Job well done, it's impressive. Wendy wanted to win, and that's what she did.
Yes,
Basically,
looks
because-
like it. Let's see.
I want to win.
We've got
too.
a winner, but today's final score is quite even.
Yeah, indeed.
Wendy, of course, won with 15 points, but Irene and Kandarp kept their 12 points each. So, job well done, guys.
Yeah, indeed. I think everybody did very well today.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely.
Well, anyway, congratulations to Wendy, our winner for today.
Can
and
you
also...
say it one more time?
Wendy, the winner!
Yes,
She starts
exactly.
sounding like the unbeatable Patricia.
Right, and Irene and Kandarp did very well too. Kandarp, you had fun today?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, more relaxed?
Relaxed?
Yeah, as I said, I was relaxed. I was here to express myself, I didn't express too much, but
No, but it worked very well. And Irene, you had fun?
Yeah, a lot of fun. Yeah, it was really nice. Thank you.
You can come back anytime
Thank you,
if you
everybody.
want. Well, anyway, Sergi, you did well too, I think.
Yeah, and I had a lot of fun.
All right, thank you so much, Sergi, and Candat Irene, Wendy, see you soon as well. And we are going to end our show here for today. I hope you've all enjoyed it. We'll be back next week. Until then, you can follow us online and check out this and all the other programs on our website. We'll leave you with the clue for Marius Serra's guess word: the responsibility of being Robin's father at Sherwood. That's 10 letters. Well, if you crack it, you can post it on our social media. Until then, thanks for watching. Keep up your English and have a great week. Bye-bye.